And gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Rada cast as we're taking on the Dota 2 League Winter Pro Series season. Here with me tonight is an extremely special guest making his Radacast debut, the Finnish phenom, the best damn esports boyfriend in the business, my good friend Herbba. Herbba, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing fine. We're gonna be seeing some nice games probably, since this is the grand finals repeat of last season, if I'm correct.
I do believe so, yeah, of the last 2 weeks ago when they ran this.
Ooh, and there's already Leshrak on the field.
I was wondering who
We're
was gonna get it. I honestly I thought it was gonna be Return of AMB, but they used that 5 pick to go ahead and snatch themselves the Leshrac and with the Knicks counter.
yes. The one thing I have been looking at the meta is, since these players probably would like to play the more fast-paced drafts based on around Leshrak, so AM Return of AMB needs to start prioritizing probably a Wraithback builder, because it didn't. We all saw what happened at TI. You just build Wraithpact plus pipe, and this Leshrak just does nothing. That is a surprising pick, since first phasing both of your supports. They must be prioritizing silencer very highly in this case.
Do you think that
Which
the silencer pick is out of worry for an 8 pick Enigma? Maybe.
possibly, but the eighth pick Enigma is, there's still a lot of counters available, and the eighth picked Enigma would work well with Leshrac, but I do think they would kind kind of stack on the same things of having too much magic damage on a single lineup of just AoE magic damage, which, like I spoke before, would get hard countered by Wraith Pact uh, Pipe Builder. I would have expected them, honestly, to prioritize Visage here, because Visage seems to be like one of the harder counters for Leshrac, because Leshraks don't build armor too fast, and the level 15 talent with Blightstone, usually you can shred Leshrax very easily, even through his Bloodstone regen. The other thing is, Visage is a very good hero against burst damage, and since you have your Creepy's Cloak, and it's one of the best aura carriers in the game for the simple fact that, for since your shard gives you invulnerability for, I think it's, is it 8 seconds if I remember correctly, and you're still giving all the auras for your team even if you're 100% invulnerable and regening, and getting all your getting basically a second stack of Gravekeeper's Cloak.
It does feel like the Visage Shard and the Scepter both like really have given a fresh breath of life into this hero, which we hadn't seen for quite some time.
Yes, the here I feel like I blame 3-3 for popularizing this thing again, because
Sure.
this man loves his auras, and Visage has zero required items, so you can just build all auras. It's basically, you remember like 1.5 years ago when everybody was just playing support, or was it a year ago when everybody was playing a support Mirana just because you could build whatever garbage you wanted on that hero? It didn't matter because the
Sure.
hero's base kit was good enough.
And here is the
Oh,
Pango. So this is
yes.
something that you had talked about when we were in our pre-production meeting. Is whoever gets the Pangolier, they should just win, correct?
Yes, Pangolier. I think Pangolier has a fundamentally broken kit, and the other positive thing about Pangolier is you can build Wraith Pact first item, and it doesn't make you suffer too hard. Because there are certain offlaners you cannot build first item Wraith Pact, and I think those are, because I do think buying a Wraith Pact makes you a top tier offlaner, as stupid as it sounds, unless you're like a summon hero, in which case you still build the uh, Vlad's component, except you turn it into a Helm of the Overlord. That's a hero I haven't seen in a while
So this
in
is a
other
Sand
games.
King Gomez special. Sand King Gomez, they have, granted, I say it's a special. They only have a 37% win rate on the Earth Spirit, but they've played him some 27 to 37 times. I can't remember the exact number now from the scouting and stuff like that. But the Earth Spirit 100% stood out to me just because I also had not seen the hero in a while, and yet it seemed that SKG were fans of the kit.
Yes. Earth Spirit is very good because Pangolier suffers against Earth Spirit. So does Silencer, because Silencer has no inherent escapes, and just a Earth Spirit dropping his kit and just running on top of Silencer will just kill the Silencer without the Silencer ever being able to cast any of his spells, because the silence is way too long on is 3.5 seconds, and that's good enough time to basically kill the Silencer and burst him down. Same thing with Pangolier, because Pangolier relies on his abilities to give him tankiness, and his channeling of his ult is quite a janky thing against Earth Spirit players who are able to look at their screens and press buttons, since canceling that requires very few neuron activations. You see a big thing going brrr, and then you press one button, and Pangolier just is sad.
So I did misspeak. So they have played the Earth Spirit 37 times, but they have a 54% win rate on the hero when they do get their hands on it. So I did misspeak on the statistics just a little bit here. And so they are going to go ahead and lock in the Sven. So I do believe that should be all three cores showing here for Sand King Gomez.
Yes. Uh, I'm slightly. Uh, we could see. This is always a possibility. I'm not sure how much Sankin Gomez has been playing EU pubs recently, but Support Spin has been making their show arounds in EU pubs, especially with the new shard that gives you +7 armor aura, which is frankly I think ridiculous.
So is this, are they running it in the 5 position? Are they running it in the 4?
It's been I've seen it both.
Okay.
Recently, I think I saw Fly play it as a 5, but it's been most famous by obviously Kataomi's Phosphor Sven for Entity, and that's why I think this might also be a flex, but it's it's slightly a slightly weird pick, considering they don't see what Return of AMB is picking as their core. And
The
okay,
deuce deuce.
yes, suddenly this is a very good +5 spin pick, because that's an AoE physical damage carry, and Sven gives you with the talent +33 armor when he presses Warcry and has a shard, and the level 15 talent, which makes you invulnerable basically to Medusa's damage for uh, I think it's 12 seconds nowadays. I'm not sure if
I was thinking
they've
like 8
changed.
seconds, but yeah, it's been a long time since I've played Sven myself. I think I've only had him in a game like one like one time in a while now. So it's at least in the low level pubs that I play, the Sven is still a bit of a dead hero, but it takes a while for the trickle down effect to reach that low of MMR. And it seems like the return of AMB, they agree with you. They're going to go ahead and get rid of the anti-mage. But I do wonder, whenever you get to these last rounds of bans, right? Crucial and I have discussed it multiple times. It almost feels like if you don't know where a hero, like how exactly their lineup is going to be, it's best to just ban out heroes that would just pretty much just screw your whole lineup.
Yes, especially since AM is also a very good matchup into Pangolier, because Pangolier is very reliant on having mana, because the if Pangolier doesn't have mana, you just feed on that hero, and since AM they have good enough stuns with Sven, you could get enough hits off that you basically run out of immediately out of mana. And since Nyx Pango is not a very good strong lane, if they have anything with this, if I assume this is gonna be a +5 spin also now, but anything is possible here. And they could just pick a strong 5 and just wreck Pangolier Nyx in while having a Sven.
And they go Drow. So it looks like your assumptions were correct. As we see
Drow
magical
Ranger.
Herba looking into his crystal ball.
Yes. Drow Ranger. This is a really rough lane for Pangolier. Like, Pangolier beats Drow Ranger in lane. Like, if you have a support to do enough for you. But the issue is because Sven is such a strong support, because that hero has, I think, frankly, one of the most ridiculous start early stat sheets in the game. He's got 325 movement speed and 64 base damage and 4 armor. That thing is just completely bonkers, and a very good stun and a buff. Winning a lane against Sven is extremely hard, especially since Nyx Assassin just doesn't do enough damage to enable Pangolier to run you down, because Pangolier relies on the ability to pull the lane back and then run the enemy carry down with his abilities, because he's got unrivaled mobility. And if you can hit your swashbuckle and get one lucky shot proc off, you can just stay on top of them.
Ooh, Dawnbreaker. So they flipped it. This is going to be a mid Pango.
Yes. I am also an idiot because I forgot that everybody plays mid Pangolier now, especially since it's Leshrac. This, again, this is a slightly better, but I feel like they still cannot really aggress against this Drow Ranger, and this Drow Ranger is just gonna click on this Dawnbreaker and next, because this Sven can always bail this Drow Ranger out, and there is basically no way for this Dawnbreaker to ever land the Starbreaker, because again, and even if they land it, Sven can just pop Warcry, and in that case, you do negligible damage.
I don't know, Herba. I think you're selling me on trying some 5-position Sven in my pubs. I think that's what you're selling me on right now. But of course, I'm almost immediately going to get flamed and reported for trying to bring this new tech into some pubs. But I do play traditionally on European servers, so maybe they'll be a little bit more, a little bit quicker on the uptake.
Yes, for me, the thing my theorycraft dream is +3 Sven, just build auras. But I feel like the big issue I'm having with AMB's lineup is the fact that Dawnbreaker doesn't like building Wraith Pact, and you are playing into Leshrac without Wraith Pact, and I feel like that is just, we have been shown at TI that Leshrac, if there's no Wraith Pack on the field, is the king of the game.
Absolutely. That the Bloodstone region is just absolutely bonkers. As we have a quick pause, but we're gonna go ahead and get into the hero introductions here for game one. And in all of the games in this first round, they are all best of ones. So we will have 3 best of ones on the show today, and then later tonight we will be back for the grand finals. But so we'll get into the hero introductions for this first best of one. The return of AMB will be manning the Radiant side of the map. AMB, the namesake, shall be in the mid lane on the Pangolier. We will see D-Flash on the Silencer, CFY on the Nyx Assassin, Napkin playing the Dawnbreaker, and to round out the side, it will be FCR on the Medusa. Meanwhile, on the Dire side of the map, Sand King Gomez, we will see Nappy playing the Leshrac, Skyward shall be playing the Visage, we will see Pika playing the Earth Spirit, Nightmare shall be on the Drow Ranger, and last but most certainly not least, we will see Amin on the Sven. Medusa potentially could get herself into a bit of a snafu here if they were to see her, but it looks like she's just going to hug the tower and try to play this safely as the rest of her team are looking to make an invasion play. So kind of mirrored movements early from the two
30
sides.
seconds.
Yes. Take note, basically, this is what I've been seeing in literally every pub that I've ever played for this last patch. Everybody just does this exact mirror movement. Nobody finds anybody, and you're just gonna be standing there being like, which one blinks first? And usually it's favors Radiant because Dire has to go up this high ground to claim or
But I really
claim
think this
their
match ends up being of any cosmic significance.
or go to their safe lane, and you can just camp the high ground, and there is pretty much nothing Dire can do except if you give up the high ground, because there I have seen some really annoying people just sit on their high ground and just harass the plus one while he just runs to their lane and getting like 250 free damage on the core, which is negligible, but at the same time, it's something always.
And especially since the salve nerf, any little poke, any little harass damage, it all adds up. Oh.
Yes. Oh, CFI.
So Amin taking some very early harass here, but nothing quite gonna come of it yet. But as I just said, this poke damage, it adds up. So maybe on the next go, they are able to bring down Amin. I mean, now talking about the next go, they are looking to pump some damage into CFY, but he held on to that storm hammer, so there's not gonna be a play as of yet.
Yes. CFY was fucking quite well there, and yes, and bot lane we are seeing. Oh, we're seeing Flashy's the first blood.
Yes, there is first blood indeed. I wasn't sure if that last soul assumption was going to have the damage there, but the pop on the bat was there, and we got a little home run there. First blood going the wave skyward.
Yes, and this is very good for this lane because Visage and Visage Earthroot is an extreme kill lane against.
Oh, we're going in onto Nightmare, able to pick it up with that, or with the Celestial Hammer. Amin could do nothing but stand and watch as his core went down.
Yes. This is looking extremely aggressive. I enjoy watching these games where there's things happening on both lanes all the time. And looking at mid lane, it is AMB is doing real well against Nappy's Leshrac.
Oh, missed a kill up top. Sorry about that, guys. But so what do you think the reason is why AMB is he's got a whole creep wave lead on Nappy here early? Is it the swashbuckle effect? Is he just simply outplaying the Leshrac?
It's swashbuckle effect, and he is slightly outplaying him, but Leshrac also doesn't have the best early levels. Because a good Pangolier player can just go on top of you, and there is very little for you to do because you cannot land Split Earth on a Pangolier at level 1. You really, and because Pangolier knows that you have to use your Split Earth to secure the range creep, he can always go for you once you start channeling it.
Dire structures are fortified.
Excuse me. Lane's looking pretty good for SKG out of the start here, as we do have a little bit of a lead between the core comparison, or the carry comparison with the Drow Ranger and the Medusa. Oh, rolling boulder forward. Do we have the kickback? No, that is on cooldown, but it does not matter. Skyward took one more hit, and he got it.
Yes, this is a... Like I said, it is an extremely aggressive lane, since there is literally nothing the Silencer can do if the kick hits or the rolling boulder hits him. Because the
something extra for the effort.
Visage will supply enough damage to always get the kill, since you just don't have... Oh, he has finally managed to pick up the Infused Raindrop, which does lessen the kill potential in this lane quite a lot. but it's this is going as well. It's kind of I expected that Nyx Assassin's weakness in this lane is showing, and Napkin is suffering slightly in these early
Yep.
levels.
He's sitting about 100 gold behind the Visage, and the Drow Ranger has almost a 200 gold lead on this Medusa. There might be another clash happening down here in the bottom lane. Soul Assumption connecting onto D-Flash, trying to get one more swing of that staff, and Pika able to pick up the kill. Now FCR kind of in a little bit of no man's land. He's gonna throw the mana shield on, pump out some damage into Skyward. Do we have a mana snake? We do not have the mana, but we do have wand charges should we decide to go that route.
Yes. The big thing is, if Visage is ever tying your
War Cry
offlaner,
into the Starhammer, but there was a good stun on the backline, keeping the damage from Nightmare to pumping out into Napkin. But I mean, he's still coming forward, full of piss and vinegar, trying to get the damage in, but they simply cannot fit the bill.
yes. Visage is such a weird offlane hero because you only want levels, and that's the biggest thing we can look at. Napkin is gonna hit level 4 in 100 XP, and Skyward is on Visage already level 5. The level 6 timing on Visage is so strong that I feel like this Medusa has to pretty much abandon the lane as soon as the Visage hits level 6.
So is there any change to itemization with keeping that in mind, knowing how the lanes are going? Is there any adjustments that you would like to see from the Medusa if he has to leave lane and go into the woods early?
No, it's because Medusa's jungle farming potential comes straight out of his levels. And it's all about you just getting enough levels in split shot, and then you just build normal items. That's
Oh,
your
we have a
number
clash
one.
in the mid lane here as we're trying to bring down CFY. There were 3 heroes on each side hanging out in the mid lane. CFY able to get a good stun and 2 bounties for his trouble.
That was a valuable stun from CFI right there.
About as
Now he's
valuable as
gonna
it gets.
Now he's going to kill himself and. Okay.
Starbreaker, but a
there's-
good gust to push him back. Amin now starting to rotate from the backside, doing a little bit of body block action. Surely he'll throw out the Stormhammer fairly soon. There's a Rolling Thunder coming in from AMB. He's made his way up to the top lane. Amin, he's trying to bring down Napkin, but he's already lost the damage from his support. The Celestial Hammer is a bit of leaves something to be desired, but AMB, he has the damage, he has the bottle charges, he's getting the mana back, and he has the help from CFY. A little kill secure. Now down in the bottom lane, there's another bit of action happening, as Skyward was able to pick off D-Flash, and they're continuing to pump out the damage into FCR. He threw on the Mana Shield to get rid of the damage coming in from the Soul Assumption.
Radiant's middle tower is taking
Things are starting to open up just a little bit, Herb Street.
Yes. AlienManaBanana didn't leave top lane. He was trying to get he was trying to die Nightmare, but Napkin didn't seem to want to do that. So AMB has to just stay and farm here and let his supports get levels, because both of his supports really want to get level 6. And since there is only one tome in the game, you have to start thinking about which one gets a lane and at which point, because at this point, neither one of these supports can stand in this Visage lane. This lane is Visage country now.
Dire's top tower is being
A good quick Stormhammer came out from Amin. They're trying to line up onto AMB. He's going to go ahead and throw the... Oh, no! They got the stun off before the Rolling Thunder came out, and with that, they're able to bring down AMB. And here come the tips. This is something that we discuss quite a lot on the Radicast whenever AMB is here. He is a hero, or he is a player who has a certain, let's say, a reputation about him. And when you get a label like that, people are going to tip you. They're gonna all chat at you. They're gonna try to get you to tilt.
Yes. I have I am also just an EU player, and I have also heard of this reputation. His reputation precedes him far away.
Oh, we got a stun into the split earth. It looks like Napkin should be going down. The Celestial Hammer came out just a little bit too late, nor did it have enough reach on it to get him to safety.
Yes.
8-3 on the score on the kill board here.
Yes, this is an extremely strong combo because. And some old chat. In here, I would.
Uh-oh. Yeah,
Some
that's...
people are very happy about the current state of Leshrac, me included. I really love playing against Leshracs in my games. They are very enjoyable. But at the same
this
time,
is kind of starting to sound like your soliloquy on Puck about how you can make a fucking sandwich and eat it between phase shift.
yes, it's this.
Oh, rolling boulder in as we have a bit
Oh.
of a clash here. A and B he's coming through with the rolling boulder rolling thunder. This time it is going to come off before the stuns come in, but FCR talking about stuns. He got hit with the Storm Hammer and brought down. They get a return kill onto Skyward. D-Flash being brought down very low. The Familiars are going to get the last click there. The silence comes out onto A and B. The hunt still continues, but now we have a Solar Guardian. A and B going to stand in the ring, get whatever regen he can, but the enemy, they stood on the outside. No stuns came through. A and B going down. They're going to clean up Napkin next. It's going to be a 4-for-1.
And now your Leshrac is out of control.
Dude, so
Oh
A and
my.
B, he was the top of the net worth not all that long ago, and now he is the 5th core on the board.
Yes, it's a sad thing about Pangolier is you want to rotate, but at the same time you kind of want your first item of Diffusal Blade, and without this Diffusal Blade, your damage is extremely limited, and you can really farm only lane creeps. But at the same time, his supports did need to get some farm, or excuse me, levels, since both of them really want their level 6s. And that will slow Pangolier down a lot. And if Pangolier's rotations don't work out perfectly for him, for example, he got killed a couple of times, the game becomes extremely hard since the hero doesn't farm unless you build Maelstrom. But in that case, you're building a Maelstrom. And then your entire team is just sad.
Sure. Sure, we have a 3-man smoke up here, and it looks like there's going to be a clash. They're going to find Skyward, use the Vendetta. A and B coming in early with the Rolling Thunder. There's going to be another stun, holding Skyward into place. This should be the death of the Visage, and it is. A and B picking up a much-needed kill here. Oh, rolling boulder. Does he kick him back? He's silenced up. He kicked the boulder instead of, and it doesn't matter because look at A and B melting Swashbuckle away, but not enough. Pika picking up the kill. Oh, here comes FCR as well as D-Flash. This is about the first proper team fight, even though it is a disjointed one. The Global Silence is out onto the field. Rolling Boulder trying to get himself to safety, but with that last right click, the last, what the fuck is this spell? Glaive of Wisdom was enough to pick off Pika. You can tell how much I play Silencer, eh, Herbie?
Yes. And now suddenly, this Leshrac having lost a big streak, as game is gonna be very not over or not very Lesh anymore. It's gonna be as soon as he gets Bloodstone. The worst part is that entire thing can never happen if he has a Bloodstone, because that somebody decided to give that item way too much spell lifesteal. But the thing that I'm expecting to see is the Sun King Gomez is just waiting for their item timing of just having a Wraith Pact on this Visage. And after that, you are extremely hard-pressed to kill most of their heroes, since...
Oh, double invisibility. They're trying to find themselves Nappy, and that's going to be the Rolling Swashbuckle into Rolling Thunder, the stun to hold him into place. Can we get a bounce back on this boulder, please? As he does get dodged out, but with the Globe and the Solar Guardian coming in, they're able to pick up the kill. Pika looking like he might be the next to go, but Amin wraps around from the southeast, but gets out a good rolling boulder. 2 heroes go down as I was distracted by a message from Kips, as there's going to be a good Gus coming in, putting some damage out. That's going to be 1 kill, 2 kills coming up next. Now, but the Dusa has come in yet again at the end of the fight, and she's just cleaning up kills, Herba. That's going to be the swashbuckle forward. TP, do they have any way to cancel this TP? I don't believe so. Skyward is now homebound.
Yes. That was an extremely weird disengage or re-engage by them. I would have thought they would have just cut their losses and NA and all chatting. Name a more iconic duo. But I would have expected them to just disengage and just be okay with just letting their Leshrac die. But now a lot of these heroes like AMB is suddenly back in the game. When you look at his net worth, he was falling real far behind, and now a couple of 1 fights. And the big thing is, this Medusa can play the game if Drow isn't too far ahead. It's like, if you're ahead of Drow, you can kind of play the game, but if they're at parity, I feel like this Drow will just shred you with the agility or base armor piercing projectiles.
We have a 2-man smoke play. They're going to run right into Pika. Rolling Thunder is now going to be dropped. Nappy, you need to get the hell out of here, buddy. As that, I do believe they are going to find Pika at the least, but now with the rotations in, they're looking to take a full 5-on-5 team fight here. There's the Global Silence to answer. Solar Guardian coming in. With that, they're just going to kite out the rest of the spells, having only lost their 4 position.
Oh, and that was both of Visage's familiars that were resummoned.
Oh, dear.
There is no familiars on the board for 80 seconds.
That is quite the big deal. And this double damage rune is still running on A and B for a little while. Looks like they're going to hope to siege this mid-tier 1 tower with the help of the siege wagon. But a Gus comes out onto the Nyx Assassin. Soul Assumption as well. The Wraith Pact is on the field of play. Napkin now is going to be who's aggressed upon. Now that they've got their kill, Soul Assumption, the damage is there. Oh, Rolling Boulder forward, not quite able to connect onto D-Flash. He's silenced up, he's slowed down. Another Rolling Boulder gets the stun. You can see the rest of the heroes moving in from the southeast. D-Flash running into the Roshan pit, but we're not even going to let you think about touching the big guy.
Oh my, and this is immediately into a Roshan. I enjoy this. Especially since they have this Wraith Pack, they're immediately using the Wraith Pack timing to get Roshan. And I assume it's gonna be put on this Leshrac, which means you cannot burst through Leshrac's both HP bars and then also his Bloodstone HP bar.
And you called it, dude. It is going to be Nappy picking up the Aegis of the Immortal. Though he is still trailing behind this AMB Pangolier. It's pretty close, as well as the core battle. Only about 200 gold differentiating FCR and Nightmare. One thing, though, I love the way the FCR has been approaching playing this game. He's showing up to the team fights at the very last second, picking up these kills, and not really risking himself all that much. Vendetta Gang coming in, trying to find Nightmare. We'll see if they're able to connect. It's nighttime, so he didn't quite see him through the fogged vision.
Yes. I really value these kinds of carry players who come to join the team fights at the end of the fight, because you shouldn't risk your game, because you are playing a late game scaling core. You do not have any items, because he was fighting with Dragonlance Yasha. Those are not really fighting items on this hero yet. You would like to get your Scotty or Manta up before you do that, so you can at least get out of some sticky situations or just tank through them.
Nappy looking for the Yule's Scepter next. Just kind of going through an item check, seeing if there's anything new or exciting that we haven't seen. 4 staff on the board for the Earth Spirit. Going Shard next on Skyward. Pings maybe indicating that we're looking for an engagement.
Yes. Ooh, that was the interesting part. I wanted to see which item did this Drow Ranger finish. Was it a Hurricane? He did finish his Hurricane Pike instead of finishing the Manta, and now he's going BKB. Since they are quite reliant on magical damage on A and B, since the only ones who off because Dawnbreaker doesn't do physical damage enough yet. Although he is going Desolator, I 100% expected him to be buying a BKB this game, since there's so much random stuns and stuff flying around. But he seems to be going the more carry-orientated build, feeling that his Pangolier doesn't offer enough damage,
Dire's
which I do
middle tower
agree
has
with.
fallen.
I'm not mad at it. He's going with the shard next, so when he's throwing the Starbreaker out, he won't be able to be stunned at least.
Yes. The issue is there's two silences which kind of can just clip you, and then you are left out to dry. It's a very high risk, high reward type of play, because
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
there is though one thing I do not
Trying to go in
I'm
here
not-
onto Nightmare. They have found the Rolling Thunder is cast from way afar. They dodged out the Solar Guardian, as now here comes the Global Silence. Let's see what's about to happen. He's right on top of Nightmare. Nightmare, he needs to find a way to get away. He's not going to be able to. Nightmare goes down, but here comes the next scary Nappy with the Aegis, with the Bloodstone, pumping out the damage. They've already brought down D-Flash. A and B is going to start the TP. Do they have any way to see? Do they have any way to cancel? The Stone Drop is there. No TP. You're coming right back to Pain Town.
That is, I am also not the biggest fan of Desolator against support Sven, since support Sven's Warcry upgrade counters out the entirety of entirety of Desolator's armor corruption. Is a very valuable thing for damage, but the Sven does, because Dawnbreaker in that build up kind of relies on hitting hard enough to be able to burst some supports. But since both of these strength supports are quite tanky with once they get the Sven Ags, since the only thing they're kind of vulnerable against is physical damage.
CFY, he has been caught out with his hand in the cookie jar, but mission accomplished. He was just trying to pull the creep wave, delay the push out, and he did in fact do that. He just had to pay for his life with it. Brent Dota, thank you for the follow, my friend. Oh, rolling boulder forward, kickback onto D-Flash as well. They're slowing him up. The heroes, they're starting to come, but it may be too late for Pika. The Celestial Hammer forward, Starbreaker as well, not able to connect onto anything. Nappy throwing out the split earth. The stuns are coming out onto Napkin. Napkin, the force staff from Nappy gets him away from the Rolling Thunder, and now A and B, he's trying to get himself out of dodge. I think he should be able to do so. Wrapping it back around, looking to see if he can find that Nappy. But Nappy had already got himself back with his friends.
Yes. The issue here is, I feel like, because they just showed their Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder is their one singular team fight thing that they can do to maybe counter out the fact that they cannot build a Wraith Pact really on any of their heroes
I'll
confidently.
take that.
The one thing that I'm not too big of a fan of when it comes to this A and B draft is Dawnbreaker. She really likes, oh god, very, very low. I think this is going to be the death of the Earth Spirit, and absolutely is the Yule Scepter, dodge out the Stormhammer. There's going to be the Global Silence as well on top, trying to make sure the A and B does not go down. The Solar Guardian coming in is going to turn into a proper team fight here. Nappy, he does not have the Aegis of the Immortal anymore, and god damn, that boy just melted. Skyward, he is going to go ahead and drop the Wraith Pack, mitigating this damage. TP coming out from Nightmare, so Nightmare is going to get away safely. Unfortunately, Skyward, the same cannot be said. That's a 4-for-0 trade.
That started off in a weird situation with the Leshrac having his Yules in the career, I think. Where is?
I guess he just decided to go BKB.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, he went to BKB, and that was a big item to be missing, right there, since he just got stunned and then comboed down. Because if you get before Sven gets his shard, or they have enough.
Rolling Thunder. Maybe a bit of a questionable one. Maybe a bit more defensive, I reckon, because there were 3 heroes in the area. I was
Yes.
taking a drink of my coffee, so I missed exactly the lead up to it.
Yes. AMB correctly assumed that he was going to die unless he popped his Rolling Thunder right there, and now they're still maybe hunting for him
Dire's bottom
since
tower
there's a four-man move up top, and there we have.
Oh, dude, this Dusa, though,
Dire's
she is
bottom
getting out
tower
to a
is
bit of a
being attacked.
commanding lead. She does have the Scotty, the Mansa, the Dragonlance looking for her Daedalus next. And I reckon really that's about the go time if you're Return of A and B.
Under fire.
Yes, since this draft is all about like in these team fights, our big thing is can Drow hit Dusa? If Drow is allowed to hit Dusa, Dusa doesn't win that man fight ever. But if AMB can keep this Drow stunned or just keep somebody on top of Drow, because Drow's if Drow doesn't get to proc marksmanship, the hero just doesn't function against Medusa.
E-Flash
because
did a
then
good job breaking that, breaking the smoke there. He does pay for it with his life. Stormhammer now going to come out onto the Nyx Assassin. Solar Guardian coming in, but it's coming out too late. Nappy standing in the middle with his BKB. The Global Silence has come out. Buyback came through from the Silencer just to commit that spell. Hopefully he will be able to save Napkin, and he does. Damage out into Nappy, but Nappy is able to get the TP away. Looks like everyone's going to get out of this safe, except for maybe Amin, but they go ahead and back up off of the Sven as well.
yes, I would say continuing where I left off. The big thing is we have to. This game is very much on AMB because AMB is the only one at the moment who has enough jump to reach the Drow safely enough to for Drow to not be able to proc marksmanship, and in which case this Dusa will clean up everything. Speaking of this Dusa, they might be. Oh, I think they're going for
Boulder. They've
CF.
got the silence out onto CFY. The smoke is coming in. KD3, thank you for the follow and the sub. That's I appreciate that quite a lot. I think we're getting pretty close to 250 follows on this shit too. So I appreciate all the love that everybody's showing.
Dire's bottom tower
As
is
they
being
get the kill in the
attacked.
mid lane, now they're looking to maybe go up towards their check-in Roshan, but now Napkin maybe could be potentially be in a bit of a danger zone if they're able to find him. He's going to step forward, show himself on the creep wave, so we'll see if SKG, they want to make a movement onto him.
Yes. The next thing we are on our next item watch, I think, is big item is Skyward's AC.
Grave chill. The silence is out onto the Dawnbreaker. Stone drop 2 times. Coming through with the Starbreaker, able to get some damage out onto Pika. Celestial Hammer not able to get the kill. Napkin gonna get tracked down by Skyward.
Will you come mid and hold hands with me?
And now
Yes.
Roshan is up, so that might enable SKG to feel comfortable enough and confident enough to walk into the Roshan pit and take this Aegis as well as the Shard.
Yes, they have been able to control this Roshan pit quite well, especially since now they probably will assume since the Stormbreaker hadn't finished his BKB. No, most people don't have BKB money. They will finish their BKB if it's possible, since they can safely assume the Stormbreaker doesn't have buyback. That means they have no chance of fighting them in the Rosh pit. Like even if Dawnbreaker, or even if even if Pangolier gets a really nice ult off, there's enough BKBs on their lineup and a Brave Pact that it doesn't matter too much, and it isn't the scariest thing.
Amin gonna get caught out as all the heroes were showing up in the top lane, so a bit unfortunate. I don't know, was he on a warding mission there? Not sure exactly what he was doing in that area, but it definitely wasn't where he parked his car, I'll tell you that.
Radiant's top tower is being
Yes.
attacked.
I think he was on a dewarding mission, trying to figure out where AMB's wards were. Since AMB, both of these teams are dewarding very. You can see by their dewarding which sides they prioritize. You can see that SKG has been prioritizing this Roshan control and
Dire have
the
fortified
Radiant
their towers.
Triangle, while
Bottom tower under
A and B has been mostly prioritizing just saving up farm or making enough space to for this Medusa to farm, them thinking,
Arcane
believing that this hero will be able to carry them in the late game.
Oh, we got another fight that's about to happen. CFY on the backside, going to get a double stun out. AMB, he's in his little roll-up, able to get the blink away. Yule's out onto D-Flash. D-Flash is definitely going to die in this engagement, but he should be the only one. Long rolling boulder forward. Pika was hoping to find AMB, but not quite long enough.
Yes, that's an extremely, and I like the fact that Napkin is just not even in the same postcode as these things happening, since he just needs to do John Wicker stuff of pushing top lane while having an ult ready all the time in order to join.
The Daedalus is out, and not only is the Daedalus out, but we're only about 200 gold away from the Blink Dagger, should he want to buy it and not have buyback. It looks like the Dire side, they want to make a wraparound, kind of catch them with the flank moving from the southeast, but they're going to have to cut some creep waves. TPs are going to start to come out from the Radiant side, getting themselves out of dodge.
Yes, this Blink Dagger is a very nice pickup for this Medusa, because the Medusa understands that he can never fight Drow if he can't be on top of the Drow Ranger. But since if he can always just blink on top of the Drow,
Oh, Nightmare
will-
wrapping around from the backside, able to pick up the first kill of this engagement. Now he's slowing down onto Napkin. Napkin going to throw the BKB as well as the Starbreaker. Starbreaker's not going to connect because the Rolling Thunder, the Rolling Boulder to get out. Now Rolling Thunder coming out from AMB, but it looks like it's going to be a bit of a defensive one. Now we're coming forward from Pika, but he doesn't quite have the reach. They have the reach for Nightmare, however. Rolling Boulder, blink away from AMB, so this little game of cat and mouse continues between those two. And now with the Aegis in tow, looking like they're going to siege this mid-tier 2 tower.
yes, the one thing we didn't talk about while they picked up the Aegis, they have now finally started prioritizing Drow's survivability in these team fights by giving the Aegis to Drow, feeling like this Leshrac has hit the critical point of Leshracness, of just
Sure. Just general
doing this.
Leshrac-ness. Oh, a good
Yes.
stun from CFY to break up the combo. The force staff not long enough to get Pika to safety. Nappy being brought down so damn close. No, he just barely gets away by the hair on his chinny chin.
Oh my! They only lost Pika. And that was such a good stun by CFY, and it only cost them Pika.
Yeah.
That is an amazing disengagement by Ten King Gomez.
9 Dota, thank you for the follow.
But yes,
This Leshrac getting very close to a Blink Dagger of his own. Walking around with this Pally Sword as well. So the boy, he just has regen for days, my friend.
yes. The one thing I'm afraid of with this regen stacking is like there is already a Scotty on the field, and that Scotty does kind of make Leshrac's life slightly harder, especially since Leshrac still has only 12 armor. Because Leshrac hasn't bought an. I would expect him to start thinking about an armor item next, since
Good
otherwise
blink
he
to get him
is-
to safety. They're going to connect with the Split Earth. Now the Rolling Thunder is going to come out from AMB. Not quite able to connect onto anything yet. Now they have found themselves Nappy, putting some damage out into that boy so damn fast. He's going to go down. No regen available. Oh, Skyward. He's up a particular creek without a paddle. His friends are going to try to come in to save him. The Wraith Pack mitigating the damage, but is it going to be enough? The Stone Drop is there. He's starting to regen some of his HP back. There's going to be the global silence, as now we're getting to see a little bit of this man fight. BKB has to come out from the Drow Ranger. Oh
my.
no, he's caught in the Stone Gaze. That is a quick death for Nightmare. Amin, the next to fall. They even brought back on Pika.
I think this might be high ground for AMB right here.
Dire's middle tower taking damage.
This game is bust open to an 8K net worth lead, and this Medusa's lead is just that really it's damn near the it's 5K of the 8K difference.
Yes. Oh, and how did you see that? D-Flash just pulling the second creep wave so Medusa can farm both creep waves at once.
Oh no,
That is
Pika. Oh no, Pika. Not sure what the play was there, but I know how it ended. XD's napkin. Maybe trying just a little bit too hard here. Maybe feeling their feet to the flames.
Yes, he was trying to cut the creep wave, although it didn't. The sad part was, since they had top lane creeps anyways, his brave sacrifice didn't matter this time.
Dire's top tower is destroyed.
Starbreaker didn't quite connect. They got the Yule Scepter out first. The Amin, though, he was brought down. Gonna buy back on the Sphin. Starting to feel like we're getting to desperation territory. Gus comes out, but the Yules is going to purge off the silence. Now the Stone Gaze. I believe that this is the Stone Gaze to break up the fight. The Bloodstone trying to give him the regen, but the regen is simply not enough. The Scotty effect playing in just as you called it, Herba. And now look at the damage that the Medusa is pumping out. That is the death of the Drow Ranger. I mean, he was able to dodge out from the Solar Guardian, but not enough from the Starbreaker. As this is a full lane of barracks.
Yes, I think this might just be the game, because there's no buybacks on Drow and this Flesh Rack. I feel like they might be able to take both these Raxes without anything to stop them, and the Slash Rack had a very good game, but he just unfortunately wasn't able to capitalize on it. And in the end, this Medusa seems to be just a bit too big this time.
This Medusa got big in a hurry, man, and now she's burst out to a 10K net worth lead, and 21K is the total net worth differential here, as they have just taken 2 lanes of barracks, while there's nothing that SKG could do but stand and watch and maybe cry a little bit on the inside.
Yes. You can see that Pika is trying to desperately get to the end-time Medusa item of a halberd, but I think it might be just a bit too late.
Oh, the Dawnbreaker coming in, as well as CFY. They have found Skyward and they have found Pika. Pika going to be stunned up by Starbreaker, not quite able to connect as he was able to get the Force Staff away, but with the Swashbuckle forward, they were able to make the connection, and now Drow has come around from the pure south as the Global Silence trying to break up this damage, this combo, catching them a little bit unawares, but here comes the Medusa from the southwest. Watch this, boys, as he's going to blink in, throw the Stone Gaze. What damage can he pump out? And look at all of this damage that's coming through. The Drow Rangers are trying to tuck tail and retreat, not quite able to do so. The Yule Scepter to break it up as she ran right into AMB with the Swashbuckle. Down goes the Drow Ranger, and now the Abyssal Blade onto Skyward. He's trying to get himself to safety. Meanwhile, I don't think that there's any respite for the Leshrac. He's caught between 4. FCR is on a monster killing spree, and this game, as you called it, is looking very, very close to its ending stages.
Yes, the big thing I want to highlight is CFY. Most of these kills on the Drow Ranger have been set up, and the stun chains have been set up by just him jumping into the Drow multi-shot with his Spike Carapace on.
Yep. He has used that Spike Carapace so fucking well in this game. He's catching Pika with it. He's catching the Drow Ranger with it. He's catching the Leshrac with it. He's catching the Stormhammer with it. Like, this dude, he knows how to play Nyx Assassin.
Yes. Now I'm starting to see why they first picked it.
Sure. When you get this sort of contribution and this sort of just total map control, because that's not even to discuss what he's been able to do as far as cutting creep waves, as far as the just pure vision that he's been giving with Vendetta, even on plays where they do not aggress, just seeing where the other heroes are, so where can we go? As now the third Roshan is on the field of play, and it looks like it's going to go to the side of AMB with little to no contention. I'm sure that they're privy to this, but would you feel confident enough to come out and try to contest this Roshan, Herba?
I don't think there is any chance of them contesting it if they know that both the Solar Guardian and Rolling Thunder are up, since those just surpass any team fight they are able to produce on Sam King Gomez.
Smoke gets popped. Oh, maybe a little clash. Quick BKB comes out to stop the Stormhammer stun from connecting. Now coming forward, trying to pump out damage with this double damaged Medusa as BKB, but the BKB is not going to do much of anything for you, my friend. Stone Drop did go skyward, but it's really just delaying the inevitable. EZ says, GG, well played. I can play and own. Look at this chippy little nonsense that's coming out. It's that easy, boys. As AMB is going to take the map number 1 of their first best of 1 tonight. And that works out well because AMB is who we are rocking with. We've got 3-8 return of AMB series.
Yes, seems like the Medusa was just too big this time.